1 second, Coco was trotting peacefully beside me on a quiet neighborhood sidewalk. The next, her tiny body went completely rigid. Across the street, a Great Dane stepped out of a driveway. Coco weighed barely 5 pounds. The other dog looked like it could have carried her home without noticing. But Coco did not back away. Her ears shot forward, her chest lifted. She pulled against the harness and barked with the confidence of a dog 10 times her size. For one frightening moment, she truly seemed ready to challenge him. I shortened the leash, moved between them, and guided Coco across the street. Then, less than 10 minutes later, she was curled against my chest on the living room couch, trembling slightly as she disappeared beneath her favorite blanket. That is the first surprise about living with a Chihuahua. The tiny lapdog people expect, and the dog they actually bring home, are often two completely different animals. Many first-time owners choose a Chihuahua because they seem easy. They are small. They fit comfortably in an apartment. They do not eat much, and they look perfectly happy spending the entire day in someone's lap. Then reality arrives. The barking, the guarding, the stubbornness, the shadow that follows you into every room, and panics when you finally walk out the front door. In our earlier story about why Chihuahuas overreact to ordinary things, we discovered that Coco's loudest moments were not always confidence. Sometimes, they were fear wearing a much braver face. But that is only the beginning, because behind Coco's enormous eyes is not a living toy or a fashion accessory. She is an intelligent, sensitive dog, trying to navigate a world built for creatures much bigger than she is. And unless you are prepared for the 7 truths ahead, Coco may become the biggest surprise of your life. The truth is, Coco does not actually believe she is bigger than the Great Dane across the street. She knows she is small. Her body reminds her every single day. A grocery cart rolling too close feels enormous. A neighbor's boot can be nearly the size of her chest. Even a friendly dog leaning forward to sniff her can suddenly block the entire world from view. So when Coco explodes at the end of the leash, what looks like confidence may be something very different. She may be trying to create distance. On our morning walks, Coco can stay perfectly relaxed while watching another dog from across the road. Her tail moves softly. Her breathing stays steady. But when that same dog turns toward her and closes the gap, everything changes. Her mouth shuts. Her body stiffens. Her ears pull slightly back. Then comes the bark. Sharp, fast, much louder than anyone expects from a 5-pound Chihuahua. It is easy to laugh and say, she thinks she's a Rottweiler. But Coco may be saying something much simpler. Please don't come any closer. If your Chihuahua has ever challenged a dog 5 or 10 times larger, comment 1 below. You are definitely not alone. The safest response is not to drag Coco closer so she can get used to it. And it is not to lift her into the air while the other dog jumps underneath. Give her space. Move in a calm curve instead of walking straight toward the other dog. Reward her when she looks back at you. Let her learn that she does not have to handle every stranger by herself. Because sometimes the loudest dog on the sidewalk is not the bravest one. She may simply be the dog who believes she has the fewest options. And that need for safety does not disappear when Coco comes home. Sometimes, it follows her all the way onto your couch. It usually begins with something so small that no one takes it seriously. A friend comes over on a Saturday afternoon. The coffee is on the table. The TV is playing quietly in the background. Coco is curled beside you on the couch, tucked against your hip beneath a soft throw blanket. Then your friend sits down. Coco lifts her head. Her eyes follow every movement. When your friend leans over to give you a hug, Coco quickly pushes herself between you. One tiny paw presses against your chest. Her body becomes stiff. Then you hear it. A low growl. Everyone laughs. She's jealous. She thinks she owns you. She's such a little bodyguard. But Coco may not be trying to control the room. She may be asking questions no one else can hear. Is this person safe? Why are they entering my space? Will I still have access to the person I depend on? For a Chihuahua who has built her entire sense of security around one human, A visitor moving closer can feel less like affection and more like uncertainty. The problem begins when we accidentally prove that guarding works. Coco growls, so the guest moves away. She barks, so we pick her up. She snaps at the air, and everyone gives her more space. From Coco's point of view, the lesson is clear. When I react, the uncomfortable thing disappears. That does not make her bad. It makes her observant. Instead of punishing the growl, give Coco a safe place nearby. Reward her when she relaxes. Ask guests to avoid reaching over her head or staring directly into her eyes. Let Coco approach on her own terms. Because fierce loyalty can slowly become insecurity when a Chihuahua believes she must control everyone who comes near you. And the hardest moment comes when the person she has been protecting finally walks out the front door. Coco knows you are leaving long before the front door opens. It starts with the smallest sounds. The zipper on your work bag, your keys sliding across the kitchen counter, the garage door opening beneath the house. By the time you reach for your jacket, Coco is already following you from room to room. She watches you brush your teeth. She waits outside the bedroom. And when you finally kneel to say goodbye, her eyes stay fixed on your face, as if she is trying to memorize where you are going. Then the door closes. The house becomes quiet. For some Chihuahuas, this is where the real struggle begins. Coco may pace along the hallway, stopping every few seconds to listen. She may bark at footsteps outside, scratch near the door, or ignore the treat you left behind. Sometimes, she simply curls up beside your shoes and waits. Not every Chihuahua develops separation anxiety. Many learn to rest peacefully alone. But trouble can begin when Coco has never practiced feeling safe without constant contact. If she spends every afternoon sleeping on your lap, follows you into the laundry room, and is carried whenever she feels uncertain, being alone can suddenly feel like losing the only thing that makes the world predictable. That is why independence should be taught gently. Let Coco rest on her own bed while you remain nearby. Step into another room for a few seconds, then return before she becomes overwhelmed. Give her a safe chew, a scent game, or a familiar blanket during short absences. Keep departures calm. Keep reunions warm, but ordinary. Teaching Coco to feel safe without you does not weaken your bond. It tells her something even more loving. You do not have to panic to bring me back. I will return. And while Coco's heart may struggle when you leave, her tiny body faces dangers many families never notice, until one ordinary moment goes wrong. The danger often appears during the most ordinary moments. One evening, the doorbell rings just as Coco is sleeping beside you on the couch. Before you can reach for her, she launches herself toward the floor. No hesitation, no careful landing. Just 5 pounds of determination flying through the air because someone is standing on the front porch. Coco does not stop to consider the height of the couch or the hardwood floor waiting below. In her mind, there is only one urgent thought. Someone is at my door. That is what makes living with a Chihuahua so different. Their confidence is enormous. Their margin for error is not. A jump from a high bed, a child lifting her the wrong way, or one careless step in a busy kitchen can become far more serious for Coco than it would for a larger dog. Even familiar parts of an American home can carry hidden risks. A recliner closing while Coco is beneath a blanket, a slippery wood floor near the stairs, a heavy patio door swinging shut, a large family dog becoming too excited during play. Protecting Coco means learning habits most people never think about. Check the blankets before sitting down. Use pet steps or a ramp beside high furniture. Teach children to sit on the floor when holding her. Supervise every interaction with larger dogs, even friendly ones. And never assume Coco understands the danger simply because she has made the same jump before. Living with her can feel like sharing your home with a fearless little athlete who has never taken a physics class. Because sometimes protecting a Chihuahua means seeing the danger her confidence refuses to notice. But Coco is not meant to spend her life wrapped in blankets and carried from room to room. Her body may be tiny, but her mind still needs a job. Coco may not need a 2-mile run before breakfast, but that does not mean she is low maintenance. Her body is small, Her mind is constantly working. From her favorite spot near the living room window, Coco notices everything. The Amazon driver stepping onto the porch, the soft chime from the Ring doorbell, a neighbor pulling into the driveway, the school bus stopping at the corner, even a grocery bag moving across the sidewalk can become an event worth announcing to the entire house. When people say Chihuahuas bark at nothing, they often miss what Coco is actually experiencing. To her, it is not nothing. In a quiet home where the routine rarely changes, every sound outside the window may become the most interesting moment of the day. And when a smart dog is not given enough to do, she creates her own responsibilities. Coco becomes the neighborhood watch. She digs through blankets, steals a sock from the laundry basket, patrols the hallway, or races from window to window every time a car door closes. She is not trying to be difficult. She is trying to make her small world feel bigger. Coco may not need exhausting exercise, but she does need purpose. A short sniff walk around the block, 5 minutes learning a new trick, a puzzle feeder before dinner, treats hidden inside a folded towel, a calm visit to a new park where she can watch the world from a safe distance. These small experiences give her brain something healthier to solve. Because a fulfilled Chihuahua is not simply one who has walked far. She is one who has been allowed to explore, think, and succeed. But even when Coco barks, guards the window, or ignores a command, the biggest problem may not begin with her. Sometimes, it begins with the way people respond. Sometimes, the behavior people blame on Coco did not begin with Coco at all. It began with the way everyone reacted to her size. If a Labrador jumped on a guest at the front door, most families would start training immediately. If a German Shepherd growled from the couch when someone reached toward its owner, no one would laugh. But when Coco does the same thing, people often smile. They call her spicy. They pull out their phones. They scoop her into their arms and say, "She's too little to know any better." But Coco does know something. She knows what works. When she barks at the delivery driver and he walks away, barking appears successful. When she growls at a visitor and the visitor backs across the living room, growling creates space. When she plants her feet during a walk and is immediately carried home, refusing to move ends the uncomfortable experience. Dogs do not understand that some rules are only meant for big dogs. They understand patterns. Coco is not manipulating anyone. She is studying the consequences of every choice she makes. And because she is tiny, deeply loved, and easy to pick up, people often remove her from difficult moments before she has the chance to learn a calmer response. Most owners do this from love. They want to protect her. They do not want her to feel afraid. But protection without guidance can quietly teach Coco that the world is too dangerous to face without being rescued. She still needs compassion. She still needs choices. But she also needs clear boundaries, patient repetition, and rewards for the behavior you want to see again. Not punishment, not intimidation, and not laughter when she is clearly struggling. Because the greatest mistake people make with Chihuahuas is loving how small they are, while forgetting to respect them as dogs. Coco does not need to be treated like a fragile toy. She needs someone who can protect her body, understand her emotions, and still believe she is capable of learning. And that brings us to the most important question of all. Are you truly ready to love a Chihuahua beyond the parts that look adorable? So, should everyone avoid getting a Chihuahua? No. But no one should bring Coco home simply because she fits inside a tote bag, takes up very little space, or looks easy to manage in a small apartment. A Chihuahua is not the right choice for someone who wants a decorative lapdog with no opinions. Coco has opinions about the mail carrier, the neighbor's dog, the vacuum cleaner, the sound of the garage door opening, and sometimes, the exact spot where you are allowed to sit on your own couch. The right person for Coco is someone willing to love more than the adorable parts. Someone who can comfort her without teaching her that every unfamiliar moment is dangerous. Someone who can respect her fear without allowing fear to make every decision. Someone patient enough to practice calm walks, quiet greetings, and short periods of independence, even when picking her up would be easier. A few months after that first encounter with the Great Dane, Coco saw another large dog across the street. Her body stiffened, her ears lifted. For a second, The old bark seemed ready to explode. But this time, Coco looked back at me. I marked the moment, gave her a treat, and calmly turned down another sidewalk. She did not become a different dog. She was still alert, still bold, still completely convinced that every neighborhood event deserved her attention. But she no longer believed she had to handle every threat by herself. That is what the right home gives a Chihuahua. Not a smaller personality, not blind obedience, security, guidance, and the confidence to make a calmer choice. Coco never needed her spirit to be made smaller. She only needed someone she trusted to carry the responsibility she had been trying to carry alone. And once that happens, the qualities people once called difficult can become the very reasons they never want to live without her. The truth is, the traits people complain about most are often the same ones Chihuahua owners eventually fall in love with. Coco's barking becomes awareness. Her stubbornness becomes determination. Her need to stay close becomes a loyalty so deep that she notices your sadness before anyone else does. When misunderstood, those traits can feel exhausting. But when Coco feels safe, guided and respected, that enormous personality becomes something unforgettable. So tell me in the comments, what was the biggest surprise your Chihuahua taught you after coming home? Write your dog's name and the one thing you wish someone had warned you about. Your story may help a first-time owner understand what their tiny companion is really trying to say. And if your Chihuahua follows you from the kitchen to the bathroom, waits outside every closed door, or watches you prepare to leave, watch our earlier Paws Mind story about why Chihuahuas become their owner's tiny shadow. Because here at Paws Mind, behavior is never just behavior. Sometimes, the smallest dogs are carrying emotions far bigger than anyone realizes. And Coco may be only 5 pounds, but the paw print she leaves on your life can be enormous.